Hey guys, Noel here, and you are listening to the smooth sounds of technical difficulties right now. So tonight's actually been kind of fun in an ironic way, and in one of those moments where, the routine of television is interrupted and you're just kind of getting swept away in the warm cheesiness of kind of test patterns and commercial loops. And essentially that's because my favorite program, TNA Impact, was supposed to go live after their pay-per-view. Now, I really wanted to order their pay-per-view, but my church's St. Anthony's Festival was happening on Sunday night, so I couldn't order it. I am a big supporter of TNA Impact Wrestling, and you can watch my YouTube channel to see me defend TNA Impact Wrestling against the really lame, pathetic smarks that build themselves up by tearing it down. And I really got annoyed the other night when John Cena and AJ Styles, and I think AJ Styles has been a real, jerk to TNA. I'm not saying that AJ Styles' career is due to TNA, but certainly AJ Styles, his entire public persona, his entire, kind of prominence, awareness of who he is, and the development of his character all took place in TNA, and AJ Styles was the face of TNA and was synonymous with TNA, and the character you see right now in WWE is a product of the Hogan era Aces and Eights storyline in TNA. And so for, AJ Styles to just kind of, really kind of distance himself and diss TNA, and then for John Cena to go on Raw and basically list every, wrestling company that AJ Styles was in and didn't list TNA, I think is a real slap in the face to a company that certainly is part of professional wrestling, which is generally a form of capitalism that's pretty routinely unethical. But nevertheless, I don't see it as being exceptionally unethical compared to the WWE, which just has a lot more money and a lot more years under its belt. And it's certainly infinitely more ethical than ECW, which just never paid its employees and put them into dangerous matches to titillate their, sleazeball audience. So anyway, long story short, tonight TNA was supposed to have their live Impact after their pay-per-view, and it's just basically been an hour and a half loop of that 70s show commercials, celebrity name game commercials, and there is a TNA commercial thrown in there. And, I'm not making this video to make fun of TNA. I actually think this is kind of fun and bizarre, and I've had fun just kind of looking at some of the memes, just joking about this. So, so I don't know. I don't think this is, as far as I can understand, this is something went wrong with, I believe, more Pop TV's end of things than TNA. And now all of a sudden at about 10:50, we went from an infinite loop of trippy, that 70s show commercials. And I'll say that I really like the way that Pop TV montages their commercials. And I'm sure lots of people are gonna, and maybe in this video they'll start to come up. But there really is kind of an interesting audio visual collage of clips that Pop TV's, whoever's in charge of doing their commercials, puts together. So I think that's all kinds of fun. Let's talk a little bit about TNA on Pop, though. It's been really, really good. I mean, I personally think that the people like Miracle Mike Bennett, Maria Kanellis, I think Drew McIntyre, I think Bobby Lashley, I think Matt Hardy's new gimmick have all been really spot on, and EC3 has really stepped up as being, from being the kind of top rookie heel to being kind of the new AJ Styles of the company. And so, I mean, personally, I think in terms of the quality of their performance and of the characters, and certainly of the high caliber of the Knockouts division when compared to, the Divas or Women's division or whatever WWE has, I really think TNA puts out a better product, at least in terms of my taste. That doesn't mean that I don't like WWE or that I don't like Ring of Honor. I like both of those companies a lot, although I don't know when Ring of Honor is on. But when it's on, I catch it. But yeah, so personally, I don't think content-wise you can really bash TNA. And I also think that since Billy Corgan has taken over, the music has gotten a lot better. Marilyn Manson is a photocopy of Friedrich Nietzsche, and I think he's a hypocritical douche in terms of just his media persona. But because he's friends with Billy Corgan, I think he did a pretty good song for the bad guy faction Decay. And I think Billy Corgan did a good job composing the opening credits to TNA Impact. And Rockstar Spud coming out to Smashing Pumpkins is all really good. Rockstar Spud, that's another original character. You know, it's funny, you know, WWE used to bitch when WCW was getting all of their disgruntled talent, even though WWE did the same thing to AWA, but even when their talent wasn't that disgruntled, they just kind of lured them away and whatnot. Anyway, but so, you know, recently WWE has had a lot of people who have spent a lot of TNA stalwarts. You know, TNA has not been able to pay them what they wanted, or a lot of talent just figures like, well, I've done everything there is to do in TNA, let's move on. And so they've gone to WWE, and, you know, a lot of the WWE fans are like, oh, well, now we got to get all these other good TNA talents, like, you know, EC3, and we got to get Drew McIntyre back, and, you know, Maria Kanellis and Mike Bennett. You know, I find it funny that they really made it big in TNA, then all of a sudden Maurice comes back and buddies up with her husband, The Miz. But I mean, this is kind of typical, you know, it's like WWE... TNA will do something good, then WWE will do it, and then no one will know that TNA did it first. Like Aces and Eights versus The Shield. You know, Aces and Eights was going on, months before The Shield. So anyway, but I ramble on. So either way, now a lot of the WWE smarks are talking about all the talent that I just mentioned at TNA and how WWE needs to kind of poach them away. I think it would be cool if Cody Rhodes popped up in TNA. Hopefully... this is not, I mean, it's going to be a public relations disaster for Dave Meltzer and his crew. But now, fortunately, we're talking about 15 people. So that's not really going to have that big of an impact. But, professional wrestling is such a niche thing anyway, so that even, like, the small, pathetic, venom-filled jackasses in the internet wrestling community might make a lot of hay out of this, even if that's a very small fraction of losers. It may very well have some kind of negative impact on TNA, and I hope it doesn't, because I think TNA is a very good company. But I gotta say, I'm really, it's kind of like this night has kind of been like a thunderstorm, you know? It's like a thunderstorm when the lights go out and you're just kind of there waiting for the lights to come back on, and that's when the real fun actually happens. So, but I gotta tell you, I'm enjoying this really nice, easy listening, you know. It's kind of like we're playing Marvel vs. Capcom 2 right now, which I actually may do if this doesn't come back on in a second. But until, I'll leave you guys with that. So until next time, guys, my name is Noel. Keep on continuing watching TNA Impact Wrestling, and know that before the Bullet Club, before Doc Gallows, there was the lone AJ Styles and the Director of Chaos, you know. So I'll see you all later. Bye-bye.